They chant no more corrupt government. A key demand of the anti-government protesters is an end to decades of crooked politicians. Since the US-led occupation and invasion of Iraq in 2003, corruption watchdog Transparency International says $450 billion has gone missing. Former MP RAHEEM DARAJI is now an anti-corruption campaigner.
The corruption floodgates opened in 2006 when the Maliki government replaced the Jafari government. There was a law in place before 2006 where a committee had to approve all contracts above $5 million. Maliki changed that to $100 million. Individual ministries then began to approve contracts themselves.
A popular belief among many Iraqis is government departments are controlled by political parties who reward their supporters with jobs and contracts. The Interior Ministry made nationwide news earlier this year when details broke of a contract for 6,000 pickup trucks, each costing $35,000, when the marketplace price in Iraq was $14,000. The Interior Ministry said the contract was above board and handled with correct procedure. This former MP says there's no sector of Iraqi society that hasn't been touched by corruption.
The corruption infestation has affected this country, and I feel sorry for it. It's everywhere, public and private. It's become normal. It's really hard to eliminate this corruption. It needs to begin with judicial reform, and the rule of law needs to be enforced from high elected officials all the way down.
Successive governments have tried to combat fraud with various committees. In February this year, Prime Minister Adil Abdul Mahdi set up the High Council for Combating Corruption, but that hasn't satisfied protesters who say politicians and others guilty of corruption need to be brought to justice. Iraq's the second largest oil exporter in the world, and the protesters are asking where that money goes. Now, in the wake of these protests, the government has announced that tackling corruption is one of the key issues it's going to look at. But whether that's enough to satisfy the protesters remains unclear. Imran Khan, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.